What is up, car addicts? Welcome back to my top 10 series. In this one, we're going to be discussing the top 10 cars with unique interiors. Now, in GTA, as most of you know, Rockstar reuses tons of interiors in their cars, and of course, this is to make adding newer cars a lot easier for them, or you can also call it laziness. But anyways, there are some cars that have exclusive interiors that ultimately make them unique. Now, I won't be including the race car interiors in this since they pretty much all look relatively the same with the same generic carbon fiber dash or flat generic dash panel and a bunch of buttons and switches everywhere. Now, before we start with the main list, I do want to give some honorable mentions here for cars that didn't make it into the top 10 list because I personally preferred other exclusive interiors a bit more, or because the interior was sadly reused in 2 or 3 other cars. So starting off with honorable mentions, we have the Scramjet. So this one does have a unique interior, same with the Michelin GT and the Vigilante as well. However, these were not as detailed or unique in my opinion as the ones I put in my top 10 list. And lastly here for the honorable mentions, for the interiors reused in 2 to 3 cars max, we have the Brioso 300 and the 300 wide body, the Issy Classic and the Arena Issy Classic, the Weevil and the Weevil Custom, the Winky and the Squatty, the Minivan Custom and the Moonbeam Custom with the Custom Extreme Dash options, the Granger 3600 LX, which sadly has its realistic Chevy Suburban / Tahoe style interior reused in the Issy Rally, which is weird, but anyways, the Ardent and the Stromberg, the Turismo Classic and the Cheetah Classic, and lastly the Comet S2, the S2 Cabrio, and the Growler. Again, these have great interiors, but sadly they were technically reused in more than one car or variation of the same car, so that's why they didn't make it into the top 10 list. So starting off with number 10 for unique interiors, we have the Pinot La Cruz. So this one was recently added with the Mercenaries Update drip feed for a price of just under $2 million. It has a unique interior with a pretty cool pattern on the dash and the door panels, plus a squared off digital display. Not a crazy amount of detail in here, but still unique nonetheless. Next up, on to number 9, we have the Grotti GT500. So this one used to be available from Legendary Motorsport website for just under $800,000, but sadly was a removed website car with the recent Mercenaries DLC. Its interior is slightly similar to other classic cars, but its layout is unique along with its nicely detailed door panels. Plus it has a nice wooden steering wheel with the Grotti logo, just a great overall looking interior. Moving on to number 8, we have the Ruiner 2000. So this one's available from the Warstock website for a normal price of about $3.7 million and a trade price of about $2.8 million. Now this one is obviously based on kit from Knight Rider and has an interior resembling that car with the screens, buttons, and lights everywhere, and even switches on the headliner as well. I think Rockstar did a fantastic job with this one, really great detail. Continuing to number 7, we have the Vapid Ellie. So this one's available from a Southern San Andreas website for a normal price of about $500,000 and a trade price of about $400,000. This one has a different interior compared to the other classic muscle cars with a bit more detail in the gauges themselves, and especially the door panels, which have this really unique design on them. And for those of you wondering, the Dominator GTT does not share this interior. That one has the same interior that was reused on the Gauntlet Classic, Toreador, etc. Next up, on to number 6, we have the Viserys. So this one used to be available from a Legendary Motorsport website for just under $900,000. However, it was sadly a removed website car with the recent Mercenaries DLC. Now again, this one has an exclusive interior and it's kind of similar to the other Sports Classics car interiors, but ultimately it is unique to this car based on its details. Moving on to number 5, we have the Torero. So this one used to be available for the Legendary Motorsport website, but sadly was a removed website car with the recent Mercenaries DLC as well. But anyways, like the Viserys, its interior is sort of similar to other Sports Classics cars in its base design, but ultimately it is unique to this car with its boxy shape around the gauge cluster in reference to the Lamborghini Countach that it's based on. Honestly, I think Rockstar did a great job on this one. Continuing to number 4, we have the Infernus Classic. So this one is available for the Legendary Motorsport website for about $900,000, and like the Torero, it has an exclusive interior that's based very similarly on its real-life counterpart being the Lamborghini Diablo, and even the seat design as well. Rockstar did a great job with this one. Next up, on to number 3, we have the SM722. This one is available for the Legendary Motorsport website for about $2.1 million. Now, I do suspect that they're probably going to reuse this interior in future DLC cars, as it has sort of like a BMW 3 Series style interior, which does look a bit strange in a Mercedes-based car. But for now, at the time of this recording, it is unique to this car. No other car has it in the game currently, and it's a pretty nice interior. Honestly, I suspect this interior was probably maybe like scrapped or something from GTA 6, and they just decided to just throw it into GTA 5. This interior just really doesn't make any sense on this particular car or the game in general. It looks a bit out of place, but it is a great interior because of that. Moving on to number 2, we have the Patriot Mil-Spec. So this one's available from a San Andreas website for a normal price of about $1.7 million and a trade price of just under $1.3 million. The interior of this thing is absolutely amazing with great detail. It's clearly inspired by the H1 Hummers, customized by Mil-Spec Automotive with the quilted leather on the dash, the seats, center console, etc. Rockstar did a great job on this one, and I think it truly deserves its spot in top 3. And lastly, on to number 1, the most unique and best looking interior in the game in my opinion, we have the Progen GP1. So this one used to be available for a Legendary Motorsport website for about $1.2 million, but sadly was a removed website car with the recent Mercenaries DLC. Its interior is directly based on the McLaren F1, and if you can get past the lack of a center seating position like the real one, it's just crazy how similar it is to the real one with the steering wheel, gauge cluster, center console, etc. You can clearly tell that the dev who made this car back in 2017 put his heart and soul into making this car feel special, and that's why it's my number 1 pick for the most unique interior in the entire game. But anyways guys, there you have it. Those are the top 10 cars with unique interiors in GTA 5 Online in my personal opinion, based on their exclusivity and styling. Definitely let me know down below in the comments what your favorite unique GTA interiors are, or even just nice interiors in general, and also what other top 10 videos you guys want to see me do next. I'm thinking of maybe doing like a top 10 engine models, since you know some of them are actually really nicely detailed. But definitely let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Thanks again for watching guys, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.